Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode here on the MIgardener channel. I know you all are going to love this one because this is kind of going to be a continued video in our composting series. And one of the things that we get asked a lot on this channel is, Luke, how do I start composting? This video is not going to be on that, but I will post a link to that in a card. I want you to check out if that is something you're still wondering. Once you've gotten that going, this video will help you out a lot if you're someone that loves using fresh compost in the spring. As you know, I'm an advocate of that. I love using fresh compost in the spring to remineralize, recharge the soil, give more microbes and bacteria and fungi into the soil to just keep that life going and to help with the symbiotic relationship that the plants have with the bacteria and fungi in the soil. So I like to have finished compost, but one of the things that as gardeners we like to do is mulch up leaves and grass clippings during the fall and throw them in a pile. That's the case here, and this is kind of our ongoing compost pile. However, one of the things that you will encounter is a time in which you start to run a little low on compost and you want compost faster. But winter is coming and you know that stuff doesn't really compost in the winter until now. This is a method that's been used for a very long time, and I've seen a lot of people doing it over in England, which is winter composting. Oftentimes, people only think of composting happening during the summer because that's when it's the warmest, that's when the bacteria is the most active. But what people fail to realize is that bacteria is very active during the winter. And I'm not sure if it's just something that's not talked about or if it's something that people don't really realize here, or maybe it's just that people over in England and Europe, places that have a real rich horticultural background, they kind of have gotten a more in-depth understanding of how things work and why they work. And I think I've gotten a lot of people that come on here saying, you know, hey, you never talk about this, why? And I'm like, well, I don't know, because I just don't, you know, and and as I do more research, I learn some more things, and I'm always learning things as well. I'm never someone that just, you know, I don't have it all. I was not born with all the information, and so I'm always open to learning. And I got an email talking about winter composting, and it prompted me to learn more about it. And I've used the method for the past 2 years, and I love it. It is a great method to get compost in the early spring when you need it, because like I was leading in saying, we mulch leaves and we mulch grass clippings, but they don't break down that fast when the weather is cold. And you typically get most of your mulched leaves and grass clippings during the fall months when it starts getting colder. And so we have this pile here. It is about 40, maybe 50% broken down, but it's nowhere near ready to go into the garden. So how are we gonna fix that? By winter composting. Folks, it's so simple. All you need is a dark colored material or a dark colored tarp. I prefer a tarp. I will not be using weed fabric solely for the fact it's not as thick as I would like. They do make a thicker weed fabric, and that's why I brought this out here as an example. This is a thin weed fabric, not what I would recommend. You need a thick weed fabric, and you need to use about 2 to 3 layers, because what that's going to do is it's going to absorb sunlight. Obviously, as well, blue tarp, not as good as a black tarp. If you can find a black tarp, that's an A+ in my book, because you want something that absorbs heat. Solar radiation, folks, is a great source of warmth, okay? The sun is your best friend in the winter. A study was done, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Don't quote me on the year, but I saw it in National Geographic that stated that a black square 1 foot by 1 foot put in Antarctica, I always get corrected on that as well, but Antarctica. Okay, don't get held up on how I say it or if I'm saying it wrong. I've always pronounced it Antarctica. A 1 foot by 1 foot square in Antarctica was painted black and one was painted white. While the temperature on the white square was negative 11 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature on the black square was 32 degrees Fahrenheit, just basically at freezing, okay? And that was there, okay? That's like during the coldest weather imaginable, and you're getting almost a 40-degree difference between a white square and a black square, and that's a 1 by 1 area. A lot can be done when it's a 5 by 5 area. So I'm just pointing that out, that it is very important to understand the power of the sun. And so what we're going to do is we are going to place this tarp over this, and that's all you have to do. Just cover it with a couple stones so it doesn't blow away. And also, another thing that people fail to do is uncover it when it snows. It's a job, I know. Man, oh man, work, it's so hard, isn't it? Jobs never end around the garden. What you want to do is you want to make sure that the snow is off of the pile, and this is going to make sure that the pile never freezes and stays warm on sunny days, so that bacteria can continue composting, because the bacteria don't stop. Okay, the bacteria don't say, oh, it's the off season, I don't have to compost. No, bacteria, their job is to compost, they're decomposers, and you will find that by the time spring rolls around, those 3 to 4 months where typically nothing was done, you'll have probably 70 to 80% finished compost, meaning by the time it comes time to planting and remineralizing your soil, you'll have finished compost. It's a miracle, I know. It's something that I don't know why more people aren't excited about it, but I love soil and I love compost, and so I'm excited about it. So let's cover this up here. Let's start composting during the winter, and comment down below promising me that you're going to start composting during the winter, because if I hear another person tell me that their composting stops in the fall, I'm gonna lose it, okay? Let's go. I don't film these episodes for my health here. I film them for you to have a better garden. And yeah, I know, people say not to throw potato peels on the compost pile. Don't believe it, folks. There's no evidence that shows that putting potato peels on a compost pile will do any harm for your garden. Oh my goodness, just such an urban legend. It's fine, throw them on there, they'll break down, they'll compost, it's fine. And there you go. Really, there you go. Throw some stones on it, throw some bricks on it, throw some logs on it, just so it doesn't fly away. And obviously, we keep it simple here. So, I mean, was I lying when I said it was simple, and why I was baffled that not more people do it? I mean, really, if you could spend 2 minutes doing this, and maybe 2 minutes every time it snows, just to brush off the snow, and you were promised finished compost in the spring, would you do it? So let me know in the comments box below, if you were promised finished compost in the spring just by spending 2 minutes every single time it snowed to brush off your compost pile, would you do it? Because if the answer is no, well, then we're gonna have issues, because this takes no effort at all. But what I do want to also mention is that this is going to also do another thing that people ask me about, which is preserving compost quality. We have another video on that, but I just thought I'd briefly touch on it, in the fact that when you tarp your compost pile, it's going to prevent something called leaching. Finished compost is very prone to leaching. You'll notice that in the springtime when the grass starts growing, there'll be a nice, really, really lush green circle all the way around your compost pile. Well, that grass doesn't just grow that way. It grows that way because there's nutrients in higher quantities there. And the only way you can get more nutrients in higher quantities is from melting rain and snow that happens during the spring, and it will leach nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and micronutrients and all that good stuff out of your compost, and it will run off into the roots that are looking for it. And so you'll have a case in which you lose nutrient quality, and it's not like it's not going to be nominal, but you're not going to have like completely nutrient depleted compost at the end of the day. But my whole goal is to have the most successful garden possible. And if those 5 to maybe 15%, don't quote me on that, but you know, I'm just saying for terms of video, the 5 to 15% of nutrients that were lost due to leaching during the springtime, I wouldn't mind having those in my garden, you know, when I need them. So I'd prefer to throw in compost that has like 95 to 100% of its nutrient left in it, rather than like 75 to 80%. So that's all I'm trying to say. Anyways, hopefully you all enjoy this video. Hopefully you learned something new. If you did, Make sure you share it with your other gardening friends. Birds of a feather flock together. I know you got friends that garden, and they probably could use this information just as much as you could. So I'll catch you all later. Hopefully you all are growing big or going home. Hopefully you all are having a great time in your gardens. Even though things are dead, there's other things that can be done, and any day in the garden is a good day. So I'll catch you later. Grow big or go home. See ya. Bye.